Welcome back to Harvest Lore. Today we're going to be talking about some cool facts about goats, specifically our Nigerian dwarf goats. So fact number one about these guys is, man, do they love getting up high. Even though they're on the ground right now, if they could, they would be on top of roofs, the stairs, they would be everywhere. These guys absolutely love heights. So whenever you get your goats, make sure you have some pallets stacked up to where they're able to get up tall and just be able to stand on it, because they absolutely love heights. Another cool fact about these guys is they can actually develop accents. Based on who they're around and their region, they can develop goat accents. So if you go to one part of the world, or if you go to one part of the country, Nigerian dwarfs might sound different over there than they do here. So I guess they really can develop a southern accent. So don't you have a southern accent, Boomer? Goats actually have 4 stomachs. That's to help them digest and be able to eat grass, hay, and when they say a goat eats everything, it's true, but also not, because they can actually be quite picky eaters. So that's another cool fact is, even though they're eating the grass right now, they can be very picky about their hay, very picky about their feed, or they just won't eat. So they can be very picky eaters, even though people think that they eat everything. But they have 4 stomachs to help them digest everything. So they're kind of like a cow in that sense, where cows, I believe, have like 7 stomachs. These guys only have 4, and that's to help them digest anything and everything, to make sure that it gets through their system and they're able to be these happy goats that we see today. So goats love hay. You want to make sure that you give your goats a lot of hay, specifically coastal hay. I don't know why, but we tried giving our goats Timothy hay and they absolutely hated it, would not go near it. But the minute we gave them coastal hay, they tore into that. So make sure you give them some coastal hay along with goat minerals, baking soda, all of that, because they absolutely need that to survive. Goats actually have copper in their system. They need copper in order to survive, in order to be healthy goats. Otherwise, their coat might turn yellow if they're white, or they might dull down in color because they have a copper deficiency. So make sure you're giving them the right minerals, the right feed, so they can be healthy goats. And make sure you have coastal hay for them. It's very important. So even though these guys can eat a lot, they can overeat. So make sure that you don't overfeed your goats, specifically with grain or corn or anything like that. You don't want to overfeed them because they can die. Yeah, and it's something called bloat. So it's where their stomach swells up great big, and they can actually just fall over and die without any notice. And that's from eating too much grains or too much whatever. So you always want to free feed hay, but you don't want to free feed any kind of goats, any kind of goat feed that you might get from Tractor Supply, because then they could get big and die, which again is called bloat. So watch out for bloat, and if your goat has it, you'll know it. Goats are herd animals. So as you see, they like to travel in groups, whether it's 2 or whether it's 5, 6, or 20. They love to travel in groups, and so they'll always be somewhat together. It's very important that when you get your goat, you shouldn't just have one. You have to have at least 2 goats. And if you do have one, you're doing it wrong. You got to have 2. Because they are herd animals and they need a buddy. Another cool fact about goats is that their horns actually help them regulate their body temperature. So when they have their horns, whether they're in hot or cold climate, it can help regulate their body temperature, make sure that they're okay. Internally, I think it's really cool. So if they're in a really hot area, you probably don't want to take off their horns because it'll help them out. If they're naturally polled, that's one thing. But if they have their horns and you're in a really, really hot area, I probably would just keep them on because it'll help them regulate their body temperature and help them be able to be more acclimated to the climate that you're in. So, one really disgusting fact about goats is that the male goats pee on themselves so they can attract a female. It's their version of cologne. So when male goats go into heat, or they recognize that a female goat is in heat, they will then go all crazy, pee on themselves, pee on their beard. That's why our male goat Boomer is a little yellow, because he's been peeing on himself and just soaking himself down to attract the female so he can be able to mount and mate her. So I hope you enjoyed all these cool facts about our goats. Goats are so much fun to have. They have a bunch of personality. They're very useful on your homestead. They'll clear brush. You can get milk from them, and you can make a little money off of them, off of their kids. So if you want goats, awesome. Put down in the comments that you're gonna get a goat because of this video, or you already have goats. Let us know what kind of goats you have. We'd love to hear from you. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us. We're gonna be posting new content as often as we can, so make sure that you are liking and subscribing to our videos. So thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.